Hi guys, welcome to this live video, Super Live Wednesdays, the program where I engage with you personally so that we can discuss issues that pertains to us, especially as South Africans. Normally on the TV show version I don't get to interact much with you, and it's a very different program because I do the program at home and I look at issues and matters that I think plagues us throughout the week, some of the comments on my social media, and I then discuss that with you on Super Live Wednesdays. Super Live Wednesday today is brought to you by Vifa Wholesalers, and I also have a little surprise for you, and later on I've got some TV show branded masks with the TV show insignia on it, proudly sponsored by Velocity Cars, and here's Jane. I'll tell you how you can win some of that a bit later. But today, a rather interesting discussion. I think we want to talk about this issue related to the alcohol and the cigarette ban. Let's put it that way, if I can call it a ban for now. But what we need to do here is, what I need you to do is, for you to win that mask, you need to share this video, and by sharing the video, you can get to win one of those. But more importantly, I've got my iPad up in front of me, so you can give me your comments, ideas and opinions about some of the issues that you think we can discuss during today's program, related of course to the issue of the cigarette and alcohol ban. So before I go into it all, your comments that were made this morning on my personal page, that's my personal profile, those comments get used on this program. The comments you make on this particular live program gets used on the TV show, and also gets used on other platforms and other mediums like my website and Twitter and all of that. So if you're going to make a comment, please make sure that your comments are decent, that they stick to the subject. I won't entertain any comments that don't stick to the subject. You've got to stick to the subject itself for me to go through that. So welcome to those that just joined us. I want to see your comments below on this video too. Smoking, alcohol, tobacco, the debate is on at the moment. But I picked up a rather interesting article which I want to read out to you first. Just a little bit while you providing your comments. Your comments are also taken from my personal page. Smoking and COVID-19. Okay, so these are all opinions, but I'm just reading it to you, right? There's been much debate about government's continued ban on the sale of vaping and tobacco products. Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs Minister Dlamini Zuma, a qualified medical practitioner, has vilified her insistence that the decision was based on scientific evidence. So I'm just going to go through some of that. So the science here, according to, let's just have a look, who was that? It's a particular Professor Elvis Irusen. He's a doctor, pulmonologist, head of Division of Pulmonology at Stellenbosch University. So this is coming via him. He's saying that the science is unequivocally clear, and that is that a smoker has a greater than 10 times chance of getting COVID-19 pneumonia. So your chances are greater of getting pneumonia, COVID-19 pneumonia, if you're a smoker. He's saying that there's more science around that, and that is that COVID-19 enters cells by attaching to the ACE2 receptor, angiotensin converting enzyme 2, a common drug used worldwide to treat hypertension. ACE inhibitors blocks this receptor so that people may be aware of ACE. Smoking increases the number of receptors in the lung, and I think that's the important part, making it easier for the virus to attach and make more people sick. Okay, so once COVID-19 has damaged the lung in the acute illness, smoking makes people immediately more susceptible to other infections such as bacterial infections, which could aggravate the condition, leading to ICU or death. So I don't want to make this a religious debate at all. I want to talk about why you think government has taken the decision to maintain alcohol on the shelves and not tobacco products. From what I'm understanding, what the minister is saying is that tobacco has a direct impact. We understand that alcohol has social ills and all of that. I've got all of that. But let's talk about that related to COVID-19, because that's what we are discussing and the lockdown is related to COVID-19, it's perhaps not related to the social ills that we see, although that's a plus and a bonus that's been out of play for a long time. So I'm going to just look at some of your comments now. Fury Sampson is saying it is most nonsensical, irrational and idiotic law passed since the dawn of human history. I'm okay with such comments, but when one comments, one has to qualify why you're saying that, and that's why we have these discussions. Sabia Nolan says it's completely ludicrous. How will social distancing work once someone is intoxicated? A friend of ours was involved in an accident 2 weeks ago when a drunk driver drove head-on into him. So please, government, tell me, how is this going to happen? Our current pandemic. Even heard of someone smoking a cigarette and driving head-on into another vehicle. Shatira Bapu Hassan, liquor and no curfew, recipe for reckless and abusive negligent behavior. Riaz Ismail says it defies logic since season 1, lockdown, season 1, I like that one. Trauma units were empty at all hospitals. The Tygerberg Hospital medical staff from trauma, orthopedics and other specialist fields have been roped in for COVID-19 wards. Now after June 1, when trauma starts filling up, the COVID ward will still need trained staff, which they don't have, sad indeed. The question that requires probing is, sin and other taxes on alcohol and tobacco needs to be increased and proceeds derived therefrom must be ring-fenced and used for health and interrelated issues. I get his point, but these obviously require further working out and further movement by government and all of that. Guljan Mohammed, I think it's actually absolutely pointless in trying to make any sense of any of our government's decisions lately. Adila Tofi saying, being a smoker myself, IRS been hard getting cigarettes and even harder paying up to 200 rand for it. There is no logic attached to this ban. As I have global students, they are baffled as to why. But just remember that if you look at what I just read earlier on, that scientists, especially the doctor that I'd received the notes from, is saying, via IOL by the way, is saying that smoking causes problems for COVID-19. Tell me what your opinion is about that. And obviously alcohol doesn't seem to play a role on that because I haven't mentioned it at all. I'm also going to tell you later on, as we enter level 3, down on the 1st of June I think, what is going to be allowed in that lockdown and what's not going to be allowed. But right now, I'm very interested to see what you have to say, what your thoughts are, and if you agree with the current situation that we face, and that is that alcohol is permitted and tobacco products are not. So you can let me know what you're thinking. There is a number of comments on the personal page again, so let's just go through that again, and I'm going to come back to the idea of what the science is saying according to what I've received, why that decision has been made. But before we go there again, are some of you also speaking from a perspective that you are smokers and therefore you're defending the stance? Or are you, I'm not going to tell you what I think because that's irrelevant. I smoke the hookah pipe and I don't have a problem. I've been struggling to get tobacco for the hookah pipe, and I do smoke the hookah pipe every single day, and especially after I've been through some traumatic things in my life recently. Unfortunately, I've fallen prey to that way. At times I just need to do that, and that's what it is. I have no problem letting you know about it at all. As you know, I'm just going to be as frank as possible. But if I didn't get some tobacco flavor for the hookah pipe, I'm not sure if it phases me, because I travel at times and I don't smoke the pipe at all when I'm abroad. I get one or two and that's it. But cigarette smokers, I realize, they need to go the entire day. They need to be there, and if they don't get a cigarette for an 8-hour flight, then they're a bit on the crazy side by the time we land somewhere else. So I got all of that going on. So there's a distinct difference, but that's another debate. Tell me what you think. At the moment, I'm seeing that everyone commenting on my page, and I'm going to go through that, is saying that they smoke, and I'm picking up that there are people that saying that they're giving us a difference between the social ills of alcohol and that of smoking. But the question I'm asking you is this about the social ills, which has merit in it, trust me it has, or is this about how does alcohol fit into COVID-19 and how does cigarette smoking fit into COVID-19? The other question I might have for government is, like, do they really think that they're going to get people to stop smoking right now? People that have been smoking all the time might just have more outrageous behavior when they don't get their cigarettes. Faizal Sayed, thank you for your comment. You're saying it's absurd the use of alcohol can bring about abusive behavior and an increase in social ills. I get that. But at the same time, is that the comparative we're looking for? Or are we looking for the social plug-in? Or are you saying, I'm asking you this question, are you saying that that particular plug-in of alcohol into the lockdown exacerbates the problem, the social ills, because the lockdown is already a tricky situation from a psychological perspective? Lemise Williams, I'm not a smoker no longer for 4 years now. Congratulations, Lemise. Many people are trying to get there. They a bunch of fanatics wanting to control the people for their own gain. Everyone should write on the voting sheet something about them because they won't be gaining people votes for sure. Bilal Duncan, Easter weekends, every other weekend and festive season, who and what kills? Alcohol and drunkards. But let's not flood the hospitals with those cases while we're dealing with a pandemic. Not to mention the violence associated with alcohol, abuse against women and children, for example. Nice government. Safia Mohammed Beaton, people won't drink alone. Social drinking will happen. People won't sanitize. Crime-related activities will increase. Mezia Majothi, if I got that right, unbanning tobacco is more feasible than the unbanning of alcohol and liquor. I'm a smoker and to just suddenly stop is very difficult. I believe alcohol is intoxicating that leads to abusive behavior. Law should be in place for smokers to only smoke at home or in their cars. Akila Noor, they need more people in hospital to back the pandemic. I don't know if that was deliberate. And then Denzel Ford says it's very interesting. Ferus Hendricks says it's ludicrous. ER will be inundated with accidents caused by reckless driving and violence caused by drinking alcohol. Gender-based violence will be on a high. She wrote a very long post there. Please go to my post and see that. She's also talking about the World Health Organization and what their advisory is. I must be honest with you, I didn't take much note of the World Health Organization. All these organizations, it's my opinion, my private opinion, that they're all thwarted by their own agendas. So I don't even, to a certain degree, I take what they say and I don't take everything they say. I also made a post here. Check the cigarettes that are on offer on the black market currently. Gold Leaf belongs to NZ Lamini Sun. I don't know these other brands. I can't even pronounce them. I don't know where they came from. But there's that conspiracy also going on that is the members of government that is, we don't know. We don't have the proof for that. Some people are knocking on our doors all the time telling us about that, and that there's a vested interest from government and members of government that have vested interest in these industries. I'm okay with making those assumptions, but at the same time we can make those assumptions, but we've got to put the proof on the table. So if we can provide the proof for that, then we can look at that, of course. It's not an issue at all, and it's someone's opinion. Hamida Suka, you saying that smoking is, please excuse my hair, by the way, Headlines Salons is the sponsor of all of that, but I haven't been able to go because they closed. They've got some matter that the salons and beauticians and all those people are launching in court today. I'm not sure about that. Rastam Francis spoke to me on the phone earlier today and told me about that, but I'm only going to get my hair cut when they open, so I don't know, it's just bad publicity, but that's what it is. Hamida Suka, smoking is smoking, bad for health. I don't smoke. Yusuf Sidat, you saying I'm a smoker and have been smoking since the age of 13. Oh my god, that's early. That's really early. I've been buying cigarettes on the black market, but recently also looked at the cost-benefit ratio. I can feed a family of 5 for the cost of a packet of cigarettes, so prefer to rather make an effort to quit. Well, good for you, good decision. And I must admit that I don't know what the increase in cigarette prices is about. Is it because of supply and demand? But I get that part. But is it supply and demand based on the fact that you want to exploit people, or are suppliers down, or what's going on? Or you're just saying because this guy came to me on the side, I need to exploit the matter? That's another discussion we can have for another time. But I think there's some sick decisions happening there. Nadira Sadiq, you saying one is bad as the other, except smoking only harms the individual. Muslima Salma, people still smoke irrespective of the ban, and sadly the virus is spreading. I think the virus is going to continue spreading amidst various other behaviors that we have, and one of it is the reduction of social distancing, and we see a lot of that going on where people are not really adhering to the lockdown and so forth. For those of you that just joined us, welcome to Super Live Wednesdays. It's the program that I do live on social media to engage with you as an audience. I take your comments, put them on TV, I read your comments, and it's my time to spend half an hour with you per week live. I do have a surprise for some of you if you want to. I've got these branded face masks. They're very nice quality. They're actually a similar quality to what I'm wearing here today. They're very nice. They are sponsored by Velocity Cars, an initiative by Velocity Cars. They're branded with the TV show logo on, and all you need to do is share this video, and you can perhaps get one of that if you want one. I don't know if you're a fan of the show, you can get one of those. But they're really nice. They come with air conditioning, power steering, and all of those type of things, because I can breathe in them quite nicely. Going back to some of your comments, we're discussing today the alcohol versus tobacco matter, and obviously people are up in arms around the country about that. Please send me your comments, and I'm quite happy to read them out. I'm going to read some other comments that came in. Maruldia Safadin, totally absurd. Trauma units were empty during ban of alcohol. Just watch the increase of all the drunkards, stabbing, killings, domestic violence, road accidents taking place, illegal trading of tobacco. Who is all behind all of that? Okay, so we got all of that coming in. Lola Taylor, she's saying, I sometimes wonder who's actually Minister of Health and who is actually the President of the country. She says people will share cigarettes. Doesn't she know people share bottles of beer as well? I'm going to read you something, Lola, that came in early on. And is it really about the sharing, or is it the science related to the aspect where they're saying that tobacco and smoking and cigarettes is putting you at a higher risk when it comes to COVID-19, because COVID-19 is manifests into a respiratory matter instead. So that is where I'm assuming that government is thinking more than the social ills and the impact of certain things. But that is my opinion, and you can tell me what you think about what I just said. Yazid Adams has responded to her saying that those are all assumptions, there are no proof. There are many other countries who didn't ban tobacco and are doing quite well. She's getting a cut of the cheap cigarettes. Okay, those are also assumptions, Yazid. I'm not saying that that's incorrect what you're saying. I'm saying that everyone is saying that they're getting a cut, and that's possibly so. I myself don't trust anybody that sits up in any place. But the point is that such proof needs to be put on the table when we make such assertions, and to date I have made a call for such proof, and nobody's been able to bring that proof forward. And one cannot sit here and tell me and think, oh, but you can think for yourself. I do think for myself, but that's not proof enough. I need the proof on the table to make such an assumption, or to add weight or accentuate such assumption. Zulfa Baltman, I would like to know from the Minister what percentage of our current COVID positive cases are smokers, and how many of the deceased were smokers. She needs to give us stats to support her baseless claims. Rushana Basadin, you agreed with that. And then Fatima Bibi, you saying they're just being assholes. Sorry, I can't beep out anything on this live program. I'm able to do that on TV. I'm just reading your comments. Please note that your comments get used on the TV show, so please do watch the language. going through some more comments here. There's just a lot of comments coming in here from on my other page, on the private page. You can actually go there. Please share this video if you want to win one of those face masks, by the way. Mohammed Riyad Rumani. They are not thinking here, if you allow alcohol, then why ban tobacco? The money that the country is losing because of illegal sales just shows our country is not thinking straight here. As a smoker, I thought maybe they had to ban cigarettes because of the alcohol ban. Otherwise, those who drink are going to complain why alcohol and not tobacco. However, that theory went to hell once he said alcohol can be sold. Also, it makes no sense since the president was complaining that domestic abuse and such manifestations was becoming a problem. One of the biggest reasons for domestic abuse is alcohol and not tobacco. Mohammed Riyad Rumani, I just want to go to your comment. I get what you're saying, and I understand, and I said this when early on in the program, I understand that social ills are linked to alcohol abuse, and enmeshed behavior is linked to social ills, and there are risk behavior attached to all of these vices. We got that. But does a government use those metrics and that basis to make a moral decision, and then also to have selective morality and all of that, to reach a decision related to a respiratory disorder? Or are they going to look and make a decision based on science and say that COVID-19 is more a respiratory disorder or disease, and therefore we will look at what plugs into respiratory matters, and what plugs into respiratory matters by the very virtue of smoking is smoking. So I'm saying we need to look at that component. That is my opinion. I don't agree with everything government does, don't get me wrong, but I'm saying I'm trying to understand from their perspective how they reached that, and they didn't on alcohol. Okay, so I want to just go back to my apology that I've continued to do this, because I kind of, for the live programs you don't have a production team around you, so what happens is I've got to man the thing myself and go through the comments myself, and it doesn't get queued up like all the other programs generally get. The comments get queued to you. Faiz the cock, that face mask would look good on me. Thank you for that. They're quite nice, by the way. I just want to show you. It's a face mask that's branded with a TV show insignia on it. We're not making much of them, but all you need to do is share this video, and you could win one of them. They're actually quite nice. They fit properly. Velocity Cars, it's an initiative by them. They've cut it where it fits 100% around the nose and so whatever, and it doesn't pull the ears where you start looking like Mickey Mouse and all of that. Hanifa Vegas, married for 50 years but never seen her husband so moody. Thank you for that comment. I feel really sorry for you, but there's a hotline that you can call if you're experiencing any abuse. Faiz the cock, I think the ban on tobacco hasn't been thought through very well, and that makes people think that politicians are somehow linked to the illegal trade. I hear what you're saying. Smoking versus liquor, Hamida Suka, banning during time of COVID-19. There's no equation. Smoking is a choice, personal. Liquor is another story. Ban is completely affects too many lives. Abuse, social ills, women, children, we get that. Muslima Salma, you were saying, what about those affected by mental health issues? Somehow the cigarettes bring a sense of calmness. By the way, I've actually gone through some of those with somebody last week. A psychiatrist friend of mine was discussing that, and we were going through the idea that even when someone's institutionalized, they cannot simply take a cigarette away from the patient. Those things must be, they obviously have a neurochemical outplay in the brain, and so they got to be removed slowly. They cannot just be taken away from a patient. From a behavioral perspective also, it doesn't make sense. So all of those are dynamics that must be thought through at the same time. But at the same time, government is saying that we have a problem, and the problem is that COVID-19 and smoking. COVID-19 is a respiratory disease, and smoking plugs into respiratory disorders. So that's the bottom line there in my understanding. Nadira Sadiq, one is as bad as the other except smoking only harms the individual. Lamise Abrams Kannemeyer, thank you for your comment. You're saying smoking harms the individual, but that is their choice to make. It was mentioned the crime on gender violence has increased, yet they made a decision to have alcohol in homes. Imagine what alcohol does in a home when somebody is violent. I've never heard of a car accident or somebody getting violent because they smoked. I suppose it depends what they're smoking. Also, there are people that smoke very strange things. So, you can still send me your comments. I'm going to tail off with some of them a bit later. Hamida, thank you for saying your battery's on 4%. You have to go. Thank you for joining the program this morning. I want to, in the last 5 minutes, read you something. Remember what I started with. I said that in general, smoking does not increase the risk of getting COVID-19. However, COVID-19 is acquired by people frequently bringing their hands to their mouth and faces. So if someone has the virus on their fingers and hands and that is not washed, then the act of smoking will increase their risk. Secondly, if people are sharing cigarettes, then this is clearly at high risk. However, remember what the science is also saying, COVID-19 enters the cells by attaching to the ACE2 receptor, angiotensin converting to enzyme 2, a common drug used worldwide to treat hypertension. ACE inhibitors blocks this receptor, so people may be aware of ACE. Smoking increases the number of receptors in the lungs, making it easier for the virus to attach itself and make people sick. So that is some of the scientific answers to all of that that is going on. However, in the last moments of the program, I want to tell you that in a couple of days, what date it is? It's the 27th today. We are going to go into level 3. So I just want to quickly read to you what is allowed in level 3 in summary and what is not allowed. By the way, please share this video because you stand a chance to win these branded masks. Very nicely cut and done, very nice quality from the TV show. If you just share this video. What's allowed in level 3? By the way, I have my lemon in my green tea every day. Okay, what's allowed in level 3? Restaurants may open for delivery, takeaways and drive-through only. The retail and wholesale sector opens up in full for goods not prohibited under level 3. The curfew will be lifted, allowing people to leave their homes at any time to procure essential services and goods. You will be able to exercise at any time of the day, provided that you do not do so in groups. Domestic air travel is permitted. You know, I couldn't actually wait, I must be honest with you. I'm somebody that I really can't sit and do nothing. I can't sit and do this all the time that I'm doing now. I'll come and do the program and I'll be out of here in 5 minutes. But I cannot sit in one city at the same time. I haven't for the last 19 years. I've been out every couple of days. And I struggle because I love being in the sky. So I can't wait for air travel to be permitted. As long as it's for business only, I'll make sure about that. Meetings at work are allowed as long as physical distancing protocols are observed. The restrictions on types of clothing available for purchase will be lifted. You will be able to shop for all types of household appliances. The sale of alcohol will be allowed, but only for consumption at home. We discussed all of that earlier on. What is not allowed during level 3's lockdown? The sale of cigarettes, tobacco and vaping products and e-cigarettes is prohibited. I see it came up as the first item on the list. You are not permitted to be out in public without a mask. Interprovincial travel is not allowed. Okay, but it's allowed via aircraft, so I don't know what that's referring to, but and if you're on business. So interprovincial if it's business, I don't know, that needs some clarity. Hair and nail salons are not allowed to be open. You know, I just spoke to Rastam Francis this morning. He's the owner of Headlines and they sponsor my hair. I never cut my hair really, but it gets trimmed all the time for the show and so whatever. You can see what I look like at the moment. My mother would have told me, "Gaan sny die mop." That's how my mother used to speak to me when it comes to my hair. And I just remember her today. I actually remember every single day and every hour. Gyms and fitness centers are not allowed to operate. All social gatherings remain prohibited except for funerals, which are capped at 50 people. While religious gatherings remain prohibited, Ramaphosa said that he is continuing consultations with interfaith religious community with them on the proposals for partial openings. I think he might have addressed some of this last night. I'm not really sure. That information has come via IOL. Thank you for that, IOL. And then also thank you to Vifa Wholesalers for sponsoring Super Live Wednesdays today. And then at the same time, all you need to do is share this particular video and you can win one of these face masks branded by the TV show. We did a limited amount for the TV show, and I just wanted to give some of my audience that every week when you share some of those. A last comment. Cheers, Faizal. Is that beer from Hanifa? No, it's my green tea with lemon in it. I have green tea 3 times a day. I don't drink any other teas. I don't drink any other liquids but water and green tea. Now and then maybe a little coffee if I'm traveling. But thank you for your comments. Continue sharing this video, and thank you for joining me on Super Live Wednesdays. Remember that Super Live Wednesdays is the program. Every Wednesday we engage with you live on Facebook so that I can create a discussion with you, take your comments, and feel close to my audience. So thank you for joining me. Goodbye.